you for the fellowship of the brethren and for your Ruach being in our midst. We thank you for anointing More Dawood afresh, utilizing him as your vessel, Abba. And we eagerly expect and wait the word as we fellowship and are built upon. All praises unto you. All honor to you. Baruch Yahweh. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Baruch Abba Hashem Yahweh. Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. 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 So Achim, Shalomo, real quick, couple questions. One, what is the clip for?
A magazine or a clip?
Oh, she, I ain't need, okay. All right, can you break down both of them for me then? Yeah,
a clip or a stripper clip tends to be used for like more bolt action rifles, or I guess there's some semi-automatic rifles that can use them too, but you kind of slide it down in a rail type of system, where a magazine is probably what you're referring to, which is a box which can be single or double stacked to where you can load your ammunition into, and then it can automatically feed it into the weapon as it cycles. So there's a little bit of a difference there.
Okay. See, that's why I'm calling on you. All right, so then, like when I used to listen to music and stuff like that, it would always talk about one in the chamber. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
Well, okay, so you got a handgun, right? You have a magazine that you insert into the grip of the handgun or the part that you grab, but the chamber is actually where the round that is fired out of. It protects the casing so it doesn't expand too much or explode when you fire it. And it also guides the bullet out from, the casing through the barrel out of the gun. So the chamber is there to pretty much protect and direct the bullet. And one in the chamber just means you have a round that is ready to be fired, as opposed to not having one in the chamber, which is, safe or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Huh. All right. Well, thank you, Achim. Jaquan's up here. I could have asked him too, because he's also one of the people who like to run around with buddies. But anyway.
Okay. Can I put in layman's terms for you real quick?
Okay.
Because Shalomo gave you that thorough breakdown. So a lot of people run around here with their Zayin, right? And if it's not one in the chamber, cocked and already loaded, if they pull the shoot, it will not shoot. So one in the chamber just means that at all times they're already locked and loaded, and all they have to do is pull, then squeeze, and it'll go off.
Okay. So then, I always got questions. So then, are you the one in the chamber in y'all's weapon? Are you the one in the chamber? Right. So I was trying to figure out what, Tuesday, Uncle Bet always hit me up on Yom Shani or Monday, like, yo, we doing a lesson today, Adon? And I'm like, Adon, give me a minute. And then that minute turns into the day, and then he hits me up on Shalishi, like, Adon, what we doing? And I'm like, okay, cool. But then I have to think about, what it is to talk about, right? So as I'm thinking, and I'm talking to the creator, I'm like, I don't know necessarily what to talk about. He said, well, that's because you haven't read anything. It's like, oh. And then he sent me somewhere. So I want to go to Bereshit chapter 5. Can somebody read verses 21 through 24? Bereshit, commonly called Genesis chapter 5, verse 21 through 24.
I got it.
Okay, Todaki.
This is Bereshit chapter 5, verses 21 through 24.
Okay.
And Enoch lived 6 and 5 years and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with Elohim after he begot Methuselah 300 years and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with Elohim, and he was not, for Elohim took him.
Okay, Todaki. Now, a lot of us have read this. A lot of us kind of, understand the background of it, right? But for those of us who may not, I actually want to kind of go to the background. So we're talking about being the one in the chamber, right? So Canute, commonly called Enoch, let's read about him. So I'm going to the book of Jasher. I'm gonna read it because I got it open already. Jasher chapter 3, and I'm gonna jump around a little bit. So as Adon just read, and Canute or Canuck lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. Canuck walked with Elohim, having begot Methuselah, and he served Yahuwah, despised the evil ways of men. All right. So one of the questions that I kind of always have, I'm gonna call it my Yosef moment, as in Yosef, who's online with us, because he always asks questions just to mess with somebody's head. Why was Tanakh? Why did it take him 65 years in order to begin to walk with the Creator? That's always something that kind of humbles me in a sense, because a man that was translated still had to take almost 10% of his life in order to learn how to get it right. Or 13, 16% of his life, right? Verse 2. And the soul of Canuck was wrapped up in the instruction of Yah, and knowledge and in understanding. And he wisely retired from the sons of men and secreted himself from them for many days. And it was at the expiration of many days, while he was serving Yahuwah and praying before him in his house, that a Malach of Yah called to him from Shamayim, and he said, Here am I. And he said, Rise, go forth from your house and from your place where you do hide yourself, and appear to the sons of men, in order that you may teach them in the way that they should go, in the work which they much accomplished, to enter in the ways of Elohim. And Canuck rose up according to the word of Yah, and went from his house, from his place, from the chamber in which he was concealed. And he went to the sons of men and taught them the ways of Yah. And at that time assembled the sons of men and acquainted them with the instruction of Yahuwah. I want to drop to I'm gonna jump down to verse 16, 15. And in that place, all the sons of men made a great mourning and weeping on account of Adam. This is when Adam transitioned. And it was therefore become a custom among the sons of men to this day. Okay, and this Jasher chapter 3. I'm on verse 16, I keep. And Adam died because he ate of the tree of knowledge, and his children after him, as Elohim has spoken. And it was in the year of Adam's death, which was the 243rd year of the reign of Canute. In that time, Canute or Canuck resolved to separate himself from the sons of men and to secrete himself as at first, in order to serve Yah. And Canute did so, but did not entirely secret himself from them, but kept away from the sons of men 3 days, and then went to them for one. So, we see, of course, the term he said that he was in his chamber, that he hid himself, right? The Shlomo said, in his wonderful breakdown of the difference between a clip and a magazine, right? That sometimes it's loaded up, stacked on top of each other, then sometimes you got two bullets beside each other, but all the bullets are together. But it's only when you put one in a chamber that you're secluded, but you're also in a position to be fired or used, right? So at this point, Enoch goes into his chamber to seek his purpose. Jaquan, since you're here, I guess I could ask you, rhetorical, but you still can answer it. Does a bullet know its destination while it's in the clip or the magazine?
No. Shalom,
Okay.
brother.
Come on, my kid. No. It is only when it is in the clip that it can even get a glimpse. I mean, it is when it's in the chamber that it can even get a glimpse of where it is headed. So Canute, based on what was going on around him, excluded himself, and then from there, the Most High sent him forth. So the goal is to get to the chamber and be sent from the chamber, but the first step is to get there. So we go to the chamber to seek Yah, to seek purpose. For example, Morikanaki, just because the Most High has already given you victory, I'm gonna use you if that's told. Koto, since you ain't say that, I'm gonna take that as a yes. So Morikanaki, I was in a situation where the Most High had to call him to his chamber in order to prepare him, in order to guide his attention for those who, shoot, those who are marksmen. A marksman aims the weapon. And if the bullet's in the chamber, the bullet has no choice but to go where the one who's holding the weapon aims it. So that's the same thing that we must do with the Creator, is to seek him, to go into the chamber with him. Want to talk about another great man in Yisrael who also went into the chamber. Anybody know who that is?
Yeshayahu?
Possibly.
I'll say Moshe, when he went out there, he said, man, yeah, what you got me into?
Okay. You can say that Moshe went into a chamber, but if somebody else who had to walk away.
Could it possibly be Yahusha when he was fasting for 40 days?
No, but in that same mode, I'm gonna give y'all one more guess, and we're gonna go ahead to his book. He has a whole book. Yosef,
Yo.
would you say
Yo.
Talking about Canute, what we just talking? Enoch.
All right, let's go to the book of Ezra. Let's go ahead to the book of Ezra, chapter 7. And I'm gonna read, and then we're gonna go to second Ezra's or fourth Ezra. It's in the Apocrypha. So first we can go to Ezra to get the foundation, which is in Tanakh. Everything got to bounce off Tanakh. So now after these things, it's Ezra, first Ezra chapter 7. Now after these things, in the reign of Artaxerxes, king of Persia, Ezra the son of Serayahu, the son of Azariahu, the son of Kilkiahu, the son of Shalom, the son of Zadok, the son of Achitob, the son of Amariahu, the son of Azariahu, the son of Mirioth, the son of Zerachiah, the son of Uzi, the son of Buki, the son of Abishua, the son of Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, Kohen Hagadol. So we know what line he was in, right? This Ezra went up from Babel, and he was already scribe in the Torah of Moshe, which Yah Elohim of Yisrael had given. And the king granted him all his requests according to the hand of Yah, his Elohim, upon him. And there went up some of the children of Israel, and of the priests, and of the Leviim, and of the singers, and of the porters, and of the Nathim, unto Jerusalem in the 7th year of Artaxerxes the king. And he came to Jerusalem in the 5th month, which was in the 7th year of the king. For upon the 1st day of the 1st month began he to go up from Babel. And on the 1st day of the 5th month came he to Jerusalem, according to the good hand of his Elohim upon him. For Ezra had prepared his heart to seek the Torah of Yah, and to do it, and to teach in Yisrael statutes and judgments. Prepared his heart. So how did he prepare his heart? This is just one of the chapters, but I kind of want to go here before we, open it up. I didn't really have two. Tevin, why your picture got to be? Anyway, shalom, Mikey. So we're gonna go to 4th Ezra, 2nd Esdras, and I'm gonna start at verse 19. So this is Ezra, right? Then answered I before you and said, but no, behold, Adonai, I will go as you have commanded me, and reprove the people which are present. But they that shall be born afterward, who shall admonish them? Thus the world is set in darkness, and they that dwell therein are without light, for your Torah is burnt. Therefore no man knows the things that are done of you, of the work that shall begin. But if I have found grace before you, send the Ruach HaKodesh unto me, and I shall write all that has been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in your Torah, that men may find your path, that they which will live in the latter days may live. And he answered me, saying, go your way, gather the people together, and say unto them, that they seek you not for 40 days. For look, prepare you many box trees, and take with you Sarai, Dabri, Shalem Yahu, Ethan, and Aziel. These 5 which are ready to write swiftly, and come hither, and I will light a candle with understanding in your heart, which shall not be put out till the things be performed which you have begun to write. And when you have done, some things shall you publish, and some things shall you show secretly to the wise. Tomorrow this hour shall you begin to write. Then I went forth as he commanded, and gathered all the people together, and said, hear these words. O Yisrael, our fathers at the beginning were strangers in Mitzrayim, from whence they were delivered, and received the Torah of life, which they kept not, which ye also have transgressed after them. Then there was the land, even the land of Zion, parted among you by lot, but your fathers and ye yourselves have done unrighteously, and have not kept the ways which El Elyon commanded you. And for as much as he is a righteous judge, he took from you in time the thing that he had given you. And now are ye here, and your brethren among you. Therefore, if it be so that ye will subdue your own understanding and reform your hearts, ye shall be kept alive, and after death ye shall obtain mercy. For after death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again, and then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the wicked shall be declared. Let no man therefore come unto me now, nor seek me after these 40 days. So I took the 5 men as he commanded me, and we went into the field and remained there. And the next day, behold, a voice called me, saying, Ezra, open your mouth and drink that I give you to drink. Then I opened my mouth, and behold, he reached me a full cup, which was full as it were with water, but the color of it was like fire. And I took it and drank. And when I had drunk of it, my heart uttered understanding, and wisdom grew in my breast, for my spirit strengthened my memory. And my mouth was open and shut no more. El Elyon gave understanding unto the 5 men, and they wrote the wonderful visions of the night that they were told, which they knew not, and sat 40 days. And they wrote in the day, and they ate. And at night they ate bread. As for me, I spoke in the day, and I held not my tongue by night. In 40 days they wrote 204 books of Sepharim. And it came to pass, when the 40 days were filled, that El Elyon spoke, saying, the first that you have written, publish openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read it, but keep the 70 last, that you may deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spirit of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. And I did. So why do I read all that? So Enoch didn't have a purpose other than to exclude himself from the wickedness of man into the chamber. And he was sent out with a purpose. Ezra went into the chamber with the purpose. So, in a sense, there are two different levels or two different arenas. Sometimes you must exclude yourself or go into the chamber in order to get instruction and then be fired or shot or used. Other instances, you have already been given the task, but you must exclude yourself or separate yourself in order to complete it. So, my question, and then I open the floor. Those are the scriptures that I was given. When is the last time you've been in the chamber, and was it to seek your purpose or to fulfill your purpose? Yeah, I'm not gonna talk to him. Okay, let me check. Shalom, shalom, Achim.
Shalom. For me, I'm still kind of at a place to where I'm trying to figure out which of those is true. So I'm not sure if both can be true. On one hand, I know between us, I feel like the Most High has been revealing my purpose is to be, someone who can stand up and be a guard to all that's around, be a strong wall. And, what I've, my experiences in my life so far, but align with that. But then I also wonder, what, is that it? Is that all that really the Most High has me to do other than what he expects us all to do? You know what I mean? So I guess I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure out with, my learned experiences and what the Most High is, put in front of me, how do I move forward with that beyond just, the the bare minimum or, the basic application of it. So I'm kind of still, I guess, maybe really seeking, maybe I answered it myself, but still trying to figure out exactly what to do with this. Sure.
Hey, so then my question, Doc, is I know you're very private, uh, especially when having to hit you up with things like that. I know you're usually there. Um, you don't have to answer right now, but what are you doing in your chamber?
I can answer. And frankly, yeah, I do need to be more upfront because let's be honest, people can't really trust people who are really secretive or, secluded to an extent because, what's really in your head, what are you really thinking? So the fact that you even had to ask, means that I probably should be more upfront. Me, I'm trying to sort my mind out. I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to, get through things that I don't necessarily feel I can talk with everyone about. Because to be honest and not to be, pitting myself or whatever, you know, I've been through a lot. And the Most High has put me in a position now to where, I really gotta, get to a place where, you know, I gotta see him in everything. I gotta rely on him in everything. My mindset, while it's not the same as it was, you know, there's still some renewing that, has to be done. And for, to really, get to this next step to be, for this to be permanent, So for me, that's where I'm at. I'm trying to, heal. I'm trying to grow on the inside before I can maybe really go out there and do things for, everyone else. So maybe I can take some direction on that. Maybe I should or could be doing more. But I'm in the first time in my life really looking at Yah like, I can go and I can try to do everything that I want. And I'm really the kind of person that, if given the opportunity, I'll do everything for everyone and won't do anything for myself. So I'm really looking to Yah to kind of lead me and guide me in everything that I do, and know that whatever Yah gives me or puts me in my life, that is for his glory and that it can be given and taken away. So that's where I'm at.
Hey, um, that's not a bad place to be, because you are aware that the Most High is molding you while you're in the chamber. Like well, I don't know, but I would assume people like you and Jaquan, y'all just and probably Maury as well. Y'all just like have one in the chamber. It's not necessarily, to use
I
it at
was
that moment.
I was just gonna say, I would say it wouldn't be wise to drive around in your car and then the second right before you smash to another car, you try to put your seatbelt on. So I'll let you take what you can from that.
Okay, but there's nothing wrong with that aspect. So, like you said, can continue to seek the Creator. Like these men were in their chambers for days, months. So it takes time. Jaquan, Shalom Maki.
Shalom. Yohanan, he had his hand up first. If we're gonna go in the order, I was after Shlomo.
Okay,
Or if
that's
it don't, okay.
Yohanan.
Kind. Man, I got so many, but times I got put in that chamber at the most. I had to question myself sometimes. The big thing, I'll use the one Don Shamak don't know. I never told him when he first invited me to the Brotherhood study was this for True Light, and a couple of that was like way last year, beginning of last year, and a couple of times I went to the study, it's like I was getting visions, and I was trying to understand the visions, and before I asked the Morey, I said, can I start inviting the other brothers? I was kind of afraid. I was like, and it's like the Most High, like, man, you got to get in that chamber and you got to man up and ask them, man, can we start adding the brothers in? And it was so told that Adon was so humble. So yeah, man, help add other brothers in. And just to see that uniteness, man, that was like, man, that was one of the chamber moments. Then it took me again when the chamber said to sit down with Adon, Shema, and Adon Dawu and say, look, man, I think, man, we should start coming together on the feast days and start having gathers together, man. And I just want to say to Yah for giving me the courage, because back then I used to be saying too much, but now like the Most High gave me courage, like, man, put you in that chamber, go ahead, take your shot. So that's my one of the chamber moment. I yield.
Kang. Now you definitely been a shooter. I'll say that. Jaquan.
I guess I think I tend to think of myself as always being in the chamber. To your question, what am I doing? I guess, and not I guess the spiritual side right now, more so just fitness. Putting myself back out there amongst my peers. Working out hard, like extremely hard. Like this weekend, I got a 6K run coming up, and then later this year, I'm gonna be doing a triathlon. I just want to get back to that point of just feeling like my body is like breaking down on me, just staying in the fight really. And I guess what am I doing? Just preparing mentally. I feel like I slacked off, and physically, I feel like I slacked off. So I just want to get back into it.
Oh, well, good luck on those endeavors. I keep most definitely. Sure you're fit enough to do it. May the Most High keep you up. Shay Shamar, and then Aki Yosef, Adon Yosef.
Yeah, I kind of have a question before I give my answer. So just to be clear, Enoch or Canuck, the reason it took him so long to, I guess you could say, wake up, it was because the Most High was still preparing him.
First and foremost, Shalom, Jaquan, Eliyahu. But when you say wake him up, are you talking about the 65 years it took before he started walking with Yah?
Correct. Yeah. All praises to Yah. Yeah.
All right. I'm not gonna say that he wasn't awakened. I would say that it took him. See, a lot of y'all up here have children, except for I believe myself and Shay. So I can't necessarily speak from experience, but just from my observation, when you have a child, there's something that kind of clicks or changes within you, right? So it said that after he had Thusalak, that then he wanted to separate himself from the wickedness of men. Shy, slackly. Because now you have something to look after, right? So now it's like, okay, let me get serious. And if anybody with Yeladim wants to kind of speak to that, then please do. That way it's just not my opinion. Amori Kanakia.
I do
And then
agree.
we'll go back to you, Shay, and then we'll go to Yosef.
I do agree with what you said, because when you look at it from a perspective of responsibility, and you realize and you look at this life that you have now that you're responsible for, and the joy, because you're kind of caught between the joy of having it and the fear of like, what am I going to do for it? It changes your whole perspective, and so you change the crowds that you hang in. You want to protect your child, you know what I'm saying? You want to make sure your child's around the right people. You definitely, well, I'll say for me, I changed a lot of my behavior in the fact of not hanging out with my friends as much, because now I have this life, in addition to my Isha, I have this life to look after, and so behavior change, things that I thought was funny, that I was doing before then. It's like, well, you know what? I got a little one looking at me now. So I guess you can say that, that's kind of like going into the chamber and being, renewed in my mind, so to speak. I just wanted to agree with what you said and just expound on it. I yield.
Toda Rabah. Just I can't wait for that moment. Shay, go ahead with your response though.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Shy. My fault, Shy.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I had, 2 dreams in the past as what I'm supposed to be doing. And one of the things that I do is, I try to get my mind right. Sometimes, I guess you could say I get consumed in my own thoughts, thinking, well, I done slipped up, is this still my purpose? Did I lose it, or, I've been slacking, on this area, or, on that area of my life, well, the Most High hasn't said anything yet. So I guess the offer still stands, so just kind of have that mindset.
Okay. I understand that. Yosef, would you be able to yield for Maury Samat real quick?
Kane, absolutely.
Todaki.
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so when I'm hosting too, I don't know how to. I can't raise a hand on this for whatever reason, so that's why I do it that way. But anyway, shalom, shalom, Achim. And I praise the Most High for each and every one of y'all. Y'all don't know how much inspiration you give me, so Todah Yah for each and every one of you. Just in response to what he was saying about the 65 year, and in support of what Maury Dawood was saying, that yes, whenever you have a child, your whole life changes. You're not just responsible for you. Like for me, I rode motorcycles. There was a whole lot of things I used to do. I was a fast-paced, curve-taking motorcycle rider. You know, wheelies, stunting. I did all those things. But once I had children, then I had a responsibility. So I cut all my desires to make sure that I was going to be here for them and not doing dangerous things. Going into the mindset of what he's saying about when you have children, you do become more responsible because you know you have another life to take care of other than you. And when you get a wife, you have someone else other than you that you're responsible for. But as for me, I don't think that's just the only reason why Enoch started walking with the Creator at that time. I believe it's giving us a timeline of how this thing went. And one thing that I want to share with each of you, Achim, on here is that I know sometimes you're saying you're trying to find your purpose. What is it? You know, and sometimes you may already know what it is, but the thing is going to be when it's the time. You know, how long are you supposed to be in the chamber? Because sometimes people are trying to do things before their time. And so I just think it was a maturity with Enoch. Because as for me, I matured even before I had a child or before I had a wife, because I was a lot like the age of Shah Shamar and Kanakya. Like I started to walk young, you know what I'm saying, as well as Maury Dawood. I started young in the walk. You know, I was still in my early 20s when I first came to the walk. But, you know, at that time, I was not ready yet to, like I knew what I wanted to do. I had visions of what I was supposed to be doing one day. That wasn't my time because there's still a level of maturing that we have to do. So I just believe that the maturity of Enoch, after he started getting more of an understanding, and I'm just speaking now from my own personal transitioning as I started leveling up, you know, through the years. Like I know the difference in my walk 20 some years ago. I mean, when I was 20 some years old to what I am now when I'm 40 some years old. Like it's a big transition that I've made because the more understanding came, the more I understood who I was, more so who the Creator was and what he wanted from me and how to do it. I tried to do those things early on, and the way that I did them wasn't it hurt people more than it did help people because I learned from some bad people. Like so I took on some of their ways instead of, like you said, coming away from everybody and just going to the Creator and then asking him how to do it. So for those of you who may be feeling like you just don't know yet, I feel like I should be doing more. Part of what you got to be doing first is growing. Anything we're going to see throughout the scriptures is going to be a maturity process that has to take place. And so I just want to stress that to you all as well. But as for me, in my chamber time, you asked kind of two part. You asked did we already know or what we ask in our chamber, or are we going to seek purpose and direction in the chamber? Me, as far as when I seek, I'm still seeking both. I already know a portion, but now I'm seeking the how, the when, the who, the direction as to how to accomplish these things that I know that I feel that he's led me that I should be trying to accomplish. So that's what I kind of do in my chamber. And one of the things that I had to learn to accept, and it's really praise the Most High when plans come together, because I'll share it in just a moment with you. I just got off the phone with Morek Kanaka before we got on, and you can see where this ties in at. But I've always had this thing of kind of knowing who I was and what I was supposed to be doing, but not liking the what because I didn't like the role or the title because of how people looked at it. So for me, as for what I believe my purpose is to be at this season in my life, is to be what I've kind of been being for quite some time now, is a leader in my community, a leader to younger brothers that's coming up, to try to keep them sheltered away from the false doctrines, and not just the false doctrines, the false or the evil spirits, and to help with this each Elohim. So when we started this men's class, and it's funny what Adon Yohanan said, which I didn't never know that's how he was feeling about it. But I just think, like, to kind of be one of the pillars in the community to support you brothers and to actually be a leader. I used to didn't like the term being a leader, calling myself a leader, and titles period. I didn't even want to be called Moray. I was just a servant. But the reality of it is the way our people operate, you do have to have some that lead. And I was just looking at from a very long time in life, whether I wanted to be able to see it or not, I've been leading in the streets and the school and I was the first safety patrol ever in the school system, from kindergarten to first grade, because of my physical skill set as a young child, because of what my father was teaching me, my speed, things like that. I was safety patrol. So so already the father was molding me as a young child as like, you can't get in trouble because you're the one they look into to keep people from getting in trouble. So that started for me from kindergarten to first grade. I was the safety patrol, and then I had to elect other people to be safety patrol with me, to be the safety patrol in elementary going into middle school. And just football, whatever it was in school, I was one that for whatever reason someone looked up to. Even in the streets, I was kind of looked up to as a leader, like my direction. And I'm like, I'm a little dude. Like, well, I know I'm heavy now, but I was like small as Dawood in school. You know what I'm saying? And I started to grow later in life, but still, it was like a respect that the father gave me, where when I would speak things, people want to know my direction, my mindset before they want to move, and want to know if I was with it or not before they want to move. So as I start to look back, even in not in righteousness, where I was at, but even when I was not in righteousness, I was always kind of like Shlomo, one to try to look out for everybody else. So even in my not so righteous moments, the things I was doing was to try to benefit my community. And even in doing so, I still always taught respect for elders, respect for women, even in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So even though like how thuggy people are today, even we was considered thugging it or in the streets, we had respect for the community, the neighborhood. So I just feel like the Most High has molded me because I never even understood why I had a voice. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want that. And sometimes I'll be quiet, and others are like, "Well, you know the answer. Why not speak up?" So I had to like when I go to my closet, I'm trying to learn from Shalomo, and ask for the wisdom, ask for the righteous ruach to be able to be there for the people. But now what I'm like really asking the Most High is how at this stage in the journey for us all, how am I to lead? And so that's where it's at, and helping me accept more of what I didn't want to accept, and do more than what I've already done, so that we can accomplish, and kind of a conversation I already had with you just shortly ago, Maury Dawood, and now to bring it up to speed to a conversation that I was talking about with Maury Kanakya just before you came on. I had no idea where you were going, but I told him, and these are my words, and Maury Kanakya, if I said it any other way or missed a part of it, you just be the witness. But I told him, I said, Maury Kanakya, I said, to me, there's a lot of people way tighter than me, than you, Dawood, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people tighter, but they don't have the Ruach. And so what I meant by that, what I said, there's some brothers that I think is beast mode in Torah, in Hebrew, and I think they are way surpassed me in that area. But then when I see the fruits of their labor, and then what I see, and like I told them, so I have to ask my Isha sometimes, because I see the response that people have when I bring forth a message, and I'm like, I don't think I'm that good of a teacher. And I'm like, of course I don't want to blaspheme anyway, so I know whatever is done, the Most High does it. But I'm like, man, I'm just a mock. Like, some people have a bigger and better vocabulary. They're way smarter than me. But I can see that the people really get it when I'm bringing it forth. And I know it's the creator. But so I'm learn to accept that. Like, I have to now stop being hush mouth, and it's time for me to come back from under the rock and go ahead and let the light shine. And that's what I said about what we're doing, is because we're not puffed up. We're trying to remain humble, and we're letting the Ruach lead. So the reason why people are having such joy when they come amongst us is because we're allowing the Ruach to lead, and we're not being puffed up with knowledge. So, and that's a humility that I would encourage each and every one of us to always have, to never look to ourselves, but to always look to the Most High. Because I ask a lot of times, how are they so excited and saying how much they got out of this lesson? Like to me, I didn't really feel like it was that tight, but praise be to the Most High that the people receive what they need to receive. And that's what I see when we all come together. And Maury Kanakya, is that not the conversation we just had before we hung up, right before we tuned in?
Okay, yes, sir. To the letter. All praises.
To the letter. And so when you was going where you was going, Adon, it just kind of, I'm like, wow, like see how the Ruach is just leading. and now you're talking about what is our purpose and things like that. So didn't mean to get long when I was kind of really trying to go to Shashma, and then you started off with one of my favorite texts, and so brothers don't put this all out there. And one thing I do want to tell the Achim too is sometime on our Achim study, let it be Achim and Achim only, because sometimes there's things we need to share that it needs to stay with just us, literally, and not all Achim, but just sometimes those that are on the line. But one of the what you start off with tonight, Maury Dawood, then I'm gonna yield the floor and I'm gonna hush. Is when you start off with Kanat. One of the things that I liked about Kanat, and this is something that me and one of my ops been walking in for over 15 years or so now, is when we read Kanat and we see that he removed himself from the people for like 3 days, he'd go be amongst them for 1 day. He didn't like being among the people because of the wickedness. And so that's how I started feeling at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't like being amongst the people no more because they didn't love being in Yah. So if it wasn't about Yah, I didn't want to be around it unless it was somebody that wanted to be around Yah also. So when sometimes, you know, and here's what I want to share with you, Achim, there's going to be times we're going to have to go around people that don't believe like us. There's going to be times we got to go be to those who are just totally in sin. And we still have to do that. We can't be so set apart that we're not going because we're not doing our mission at that point. We became too set apart that we know earthly good. So the point that I'm trying to get to real quick is Enoch removed himself, but he still had to go to the people to be that example. And that's why we have to have our studies like we're doing right now in our little private time. We join together, but it still has to be at least that 1 day when we're getting out so the people can see us and we can be the light. And we have to also learn that when we're in a scenario, that when we're moving, that sometimes we might just have to say Kanak. And if we ain't say Maury Kanak Yah and we ain't look directly at Kanak Yah, then y'all know it's time for us to mount up and get ready to head out. Meaning because it's time for us to separate ourselves from this wherever we are, and it's time for us now to sin or to remove ourselves from this situation because something here is not right. So again, just praise be to the Most High. You bringing out a fire lesson. I like the way you definitely put together about being in the chamber. And we all need to, at the time that we're in now, Mishpachah, Achim, Ish Elohim, we have to remain in the chamber with the Most High because we all have something to add to the work of the Most High. But how we know except we're hearing from the Most High. So I yield Maury Dawood. Thank y'all for your time. Thank you for yielding the floor to me about your stuff.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Most definitely, you said a lot there, Don. So I hope everybody was able to digest it. But Kang, absolutely. Adon, Yosef, and then we're gonna go to Tevin. Shalom, Dawid, and Yohanan. Shalom, Aki.
Shalom.
Yosef.
Gang. Wow. First and foremost, hello. Yeah, I appreciate all the words that was just spoken. Man, I don't know if I can compare with that, but I do appreciate everything that was said. Trying to figure out where to start because this lesson right here kind of hits very close to home for me. I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit and talk about the question that was brought up in regards to the family being a father, right? So I would say for me, my experience, I was a late bloomer. I'm going to be completely frank and honest because I love y'all brothers. For my first daughter, I was still, and I'll say this, right? Like I said, brothers, before I got in this walk, of course, I was out here running the streets, running around, especially when I got in the Navy, my first couple of years in the Navy. I was hitting the clubs up every day. I can't even make it up. We was literally going every day. And on top of going to the clubs and everything like that, we was going to work. So there was no sleep in the middle of that. So that lifestyle continued into the second daughter, Ariel. So it didn't click for me until we had a second child. When that happened, light bulb finally went off in my head. I was like, okay, I got to get my act together because I'm having an influence on not one, but 2 lives that I have to look after. Most High willing, Most High willing, we were Barak with more children, and then the story unfolds from there. But for me, as far as being in the chamber, I like to call it the wilderness. I talk with Dawood about it all the time, kind of setting yourself apart in the wilderness. For me, one of the times that I can definitely remember was being out to sea. As painful as it is going out to sea, it's one of those time frames in your life where you can truly just set yourself apart because you're almost forced to. You set yourself apart and you can truly seek and seek out the Most High. And again, Morris Samak said it perfectly. You were constantly around sinful people, sinful thoughts. The Navy is a smorgasbord of all of those things. So you can't run from it. You can't hide from it. It's always in your face. So you have to equip yourself to combat those things, so to speak, right? During those times, for me, I'm trying to basically embody the name that was given to me, which is Yosef. I'm always trying to be an aid, to add to my brothers, to be as selfless as I possibly can, to help and always be a help. Like Shy, I had to write these stuff down too, because my thoughts are just running. I was having dreams, especially early in my walk. I was having dreams, visions, daydreams. Like right there in the afternoon, I have a dream, and it was always in relation to helping and assisting other people. Morris Samak said one of my favorite words, and it always sticks out to me. Dawood knows what I'm talking about: humility, being humble. That was one of the things while I'm in the chamber, asking, begging the Most High to continuously guide my feet in that likeness. To finish my thoughts, I actually was thinking about it because I don't brag about it too much, but we definitely go over guns and everything like that in the military. One of the things that kind of stuck out to me in regards to how the gun functions is when the bullet is actually released, each gun actually has a specific marker. It's called a signature. That term is used, and Shlomo can definitely attest to this. When a bullet is fired, there's a marker that is left on the bullet to identify. You can identify the bullet where it comes from that. If you do like forensic science and everything like that when it comes to police CSI. So that's how bullets, I see the hand clap, that's how bullets are actually traced back to the gun. So if the Most High fires you, right, you should have the mark of the Most High on you, identifying where you're coming from.
Woo, you better say that out.
So that was definitely one of the thoughts that came to my mind. And man, like I said, Toda Rabah for you bringing this lesson out. I have 1,000 more thoughts, but I don't want to take up too much time. But Toda for your attentiveness, and I love y'all brothers. Thank you.
Yeah, you better bring that out. You lucky this ain't club. I'd have been clapping. But okay, let's see. Shalom, why you ain't tell me that part? I could put that in less. Okay, hallelujah, hallelujah. Tevin, if you give me 1 second. Zoking, Eliyahu, are you told? I saw your mic go unmuted. I wanted to, yield the floor to you. If you had anything to say,
Shalom, shalom, Achim. I'm just enjoying. I have nothing to say. And a lot of what Samak was saying was mirrored early on in my life as well. And my rib can affirm that I didn't understand why I didn't want to be around people for a long, long time. I could just, I really treasured the idea of just going up in the woods, the mountain, and just me and Yah and everything. But that, of course, isn't the way life works. But with a greater purpose and understanding, things are much better now. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying everything that I'm hearing. Thank you for having invited me to this forum, Samak. I yield.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. It is always a pleasure to have you in our midst, Jaquan. You're not one to speak much, but we need you to. So hallelujah. Go ahead, Aki, Tevin.
Toda. Oh wow. I don't even know where to start either. All I can say right now is just Toda for this lesson and just everything that everyone brought out. I think the Most High, for me personally, from a young age, I think He had something special for me, and I say that because growing up, I was the type of person that never really got in trouble. Never ran the streets, never, did drugs or anything like that. And, I was always one of the first people in school to, raise my hand to answer a question or to teacher needed help with something. So I think the Most High has called me to somewhere along in the lines of doing something to help people. And I know I don't really say too much on the studies. I just kind of take everything in. But lately I've been kind of thinking about what my purpose is, and for some reason it all of a sudden hit me, something with children. And it made me think of, there's a lot of friends that I have that have children, and the first day I met them, they love me right away, and some they still ask about me, where am I at today, when am I gonna come over and play with them or whatever. So I think he's, I don't know if it's a total reveal yet, but I think he's called me to do something with children. I don't have any children yet, but I know when I do, just like everyone said, my mindset will change. Of course, there's still some things that I'm working on my life personally and spiritually. But I think with me having a child, it'll definitely change my mindset with, just my way of thinking, and I think I'll have more stuff revealed to me. And I know a lot of people say, in life, it will happen. Just have patience. And I've heard that a lot with a lot of things that's happened in my life. And sometimes for me it gets kind of hard because I'm just kind of ready for it to happen. I get excited, or depending on what it is, I'll get a little bit nervous, but mostly anxious. But I think wow, it's I can keep going, but I'm just gonna yield. All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah. All right. Told everybody, Aki. Told everybody, Aki. So just to kind of throw a monkey wrench, and also, well, let me catch up Big Dawid and Yakana, because we haven't heard y'all voice yet. So we're talking about being in the chamber, right? So We went over Enoch and Ezra and their seclusion from society in order to seek the Creator. Canute or Canuck, he went there for the sole purpose of escaping wickedness while seeking the Creator, and he was sent forth with a mission to teach, and really being the first Melet Zadik or Melchizedek or King of Righteousness, as some would say. And then you have Ezra, who went into the chamber with the purpose of being the scribe of the Creator. So we were just talking about the differences between the two and which state of being in the chamber have we been in recently, and even now. But now back to the that's who left. Okay, but Shlomo, back to the weapons, right? What is a misfire?
Ooh, a misfire could be, say you have a bad primer or maybe the powder inside of the round is wet. You pull the trigger, it goes click, but it doesn't go boom.
So that's
Or
a faulty bullet,
could
or that's a faulty gun?
arrow too. What was that?
Slightly, Aki. So is that a faulty bullet or a faulty gun?
It could be a faulty bullet. It could be a faulty gun, possibly a light primer strike. Could be either one.
Okay. Well, we know with the Creator that, of course, his hand wouldn't be faulty, so it would have to be us, which a misfire means that the Most High sends you forth, but you don't, there's something that is not clicking within you in order to get the message. But I just read that with a misfire that you might go later, right? If I'm not mistaken, Shlomo.
Yeah, that's a hang fire. In a situation where you have a misfire, if that happens or you hear like a poof sound, just keep the gun down range because it might come out a little bit after the fact.
And in a situation where, like you said, when you're about to get in a crash, you don't want to be trying to put your seatbelt on right before a crash, but you definitely don't want your seatbelt to lock up before you get it on if you're in a crash, or if you're in a situation where you need to use your gun and you shoot and it don't go off, you don't necessarily have the time to wait for that misfire, correct?
Okay, you want everything to work how it's supposed to be in the time that it's supposed to work, ideally.
So that means that sometimes even within our life, the Most High is sending us forth to do something, but the message isn't necessarily getting through, or we stay within our chamber past our time, and then we expect to leave when we want to, but then it might be too late. So I think that we most definitely have to be circumspect, and it's cool to be in the chamber, but don't stay in the chamber. Maurice Amat said that, Hanuk didn't want to go talk to the people. The Most High sent him to the people. It wasn't a desire, but he had to go. You have to do what the Creator is asking you to do. As in, for those who are completely submitted to his will. You have free will to deny or to delay, but for those who are completely submitted to his will, you have to do his will when he's asking you to do his will. It's not on your time. Because your misfire or hanging fire, that might be the difference between somebody else's life or death. You doing what you're supposed to do affects other people's lives. So it's definitely important to go into the chamber to know what you're going to be sent forth to do. Anybody have any thoughts or comments in regards to that? It's okay, Eliyahu, and then Shah Shamar, Slockley.
Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. And we have a couple of instances in Scripture where if you truly are a true servant of the Most High and you don't do as you're instructed, life doesn't go very well for you. And in fact, it gets really, really difficult and rough and can even have a deadly slant to it. Jonah comes to mind as one who did not want to do what it was that he was instructed to do. And, you know, for whatever the cause or reasons were, his were legitimate reasons, but nonetheless, that did not negate what it was that the Most High employed him to do. And so, you know, the takeaway from that is obey the first time, because there's always benefits from having done so. But, you know, some of us, it takes a little bit of time. I yield.
Okay, good, absolutely. Jaquan, Toda Rabah, Shah Shamar, Achim. Please spell it Shy, like Chicago, please. I'm keep messing up his head. Shah Shamar, Slockley.
I mean, yeah, I just keep correcting you. Yeah, we'll get it. But I recently read Isaiah 41 or Yeshayahu 41, chapter 15. And that was my first time reading. It kind of stuck with me. You know, it's kind of like one of those verses, you know, and the words in it, it's kind of like gets you excited. You just keep thinking about it. But I'm gonna read you know, 14, I guess, for context, where it says, so this is Isaiah 41 and 14, where it says, "Fear not thy worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel. I will help thee, saith Yahweh, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. And behold, I will make thee a sharp threshing instrument, and well, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument, having teeth, and thou shalt thresh the mountains and beat them small, and thou shalt make the hills as chaff." Yeah, and there's a lot of words in there that I thought, you know, I knew the meaning of. When I look them up, they actually have different meanings. I looked at the word instrument, and I think in the Strongs it was like Baal, and it means owner or husband. So I thought that was interesting, and it kind of like ties in what we were talking about, especially the word, I guess, instrument.
Okay. Definitely his instrument. Anybody else? Yakinan Dawid, More Kanakia, Koto.
Okay, told blessing. I'm loving it.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what I have for tonight. Just the aspect of remembering to go to the chamber and being prepared, being guided, and being shot forth in order to accomplish whatever the Creator sends us forth to do. I open the floor. Well, it's been open. More Smock, Elder Eliyahu, and any other brother. Shalom Zariyahu, Mitch Ray.
I want to say total lesson of Dome, but I just I know that everybody has this question. And I guess one day the Most High might tell us, one day he might not. I just want to know, where did he took Enoch at? You know, when he took him, where did he go? I want to know.
Well, I believe in the book of Jubilees, it says that they took him to Eden, or the garden, in order for him to do some work there. So uh once again, all those things are speculation. Like you said, maybe he'll tell us, maybe we'll see him in the kingdom and we'll be able to drink some yayin with him and he'll let us know what's going on. Um we don't know. We don't know. Okay. With that being said, I can if there are no other comments, um this weekend, we will be in Richmond on Yom Rishon, for a gathering with Maury Eliyahu, as well as Maury Samat, and a few other mishpachah from down there coming up. So if you're available, if you're in the area, definitely come out. Have your mind toward Sukkot. Sukkot is, within 3 months now. It's September 20th through the 27th, if I'm not mistaken, off the top. So we got a little bit to go, but we're not that far. So have your mind on that. Before that, of course, our next Moed is Yom Teruah, and that weekend, most high willing, we will have guests in. I'm praying from all over for us to renew the covenant, and then we'll have a community event on that Yom Rishon, September 5th, and then September 6th, according to our calendar, we will be observing Yom Teruah. So that's what's on the calendar. Are there any other announcements, anything like that, Mr. Ka or Achim? Okay. Well,
You ready for the case study coming up this commission?
Oh yeah, Kang. Also having gift study on this Yom Kamishi, and so praying everybody will be available for that. And I see your hand, Achim. What's going on about yourself, Azariahu?
Kane, I just got to the house. Shalom, shalom. If it's possible, can you send me the verses for tonight's lesson, or Bavakashah if possible? And prayerfully, we be out there, but that is literally like right around the time of the baby's due date. So it might seem like 2 years ago when we had Sukkot and my baby was born the last day of Sukkot, and now I have another one that might be born around Yom Teruah, Yom Kippur time frame. So told y'all for the little blessings. But if you get a chance, can you just send me that information? I definitely want to kind of review what was spoken about. I know I'm kind of late, but I still want to.
Kind. That ain't no problem. Matter of fact, it is recorded. So if Yohanan could send that to you, send you the link. That way you can get it. I mean, because we only went over 4 scriptures, which I could give you right now if you like. But I think it will be told to listen to it once again if you like. So depending on which one you want. Go ahead, Aki.
Okay, Toda. And I be watching the YouTube, so if Uncle Beck could send me the link, or if he can or if he posts it up on the YouTube, I'll catch it. But yeah, I'll get with you later about the scriptures.
Okay. Go ahead. I thought you said- Okay. Okay. Well, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and pray out. Uh, it's okay. Eliyahu, would you mind praying us out of down?
Cain. Muhan. All minds agreed, all hearts settled. Father, in the name of Yahusha, we come before you. We thank you for this esteemed gathering which you've brought into existence. We ask that you would supply each Achim with what he needs for his individual life and path and for his household. And first and foremost, we ask that if there be anything whatsoever that separates us from you, we ask that you would reveal it to us so that we can acknowledge it as sin, as transgression, and or as iniquity, and deal with it. For our heart's desire is to be pleasing to you in all our ways and all our actions. The desire sometimes, Father, is to be with you and you alone and not with anyone else. That is told for a time, but it cannot be always. For in that you called us to be light amongst the nations with whom we exist. And as such, we must be mindful to walk circumspectly at all times. So we ask for the discernment and the knowledge in areas that we are not expert in to be revealed to us. And as that knowledge is revealed, we'd ask for the wisdom to engage properly in order that we draw humanity to you. If there be any sick among us, I ask that by your sovereign will, that you intervene and displace all sickness, all disease, and in fact, all lack in each of these Achim lives that are present on this line. I'd also ask, Father, that as it says in the Brit, let this mind, which was also in Mashiach, be in you. I would ask that it would loom large within each of us so that we yield to your will so that your will would be demonstrated in this earth realm. And as such, as you speak, we speak. As you show us what to do and how to do, we do. Help us to mirror the reflection of your esteem in our lives at all times. And where we lack, pair us up with someone that can show us how to bridge that gap, as it were. And as iron sharpens iron, I thank you for this esteemed gathering, which is indeed sharpening us all. It is to your glory, your esteem. In the name of our Mashiach, Yahusha, I ask this. Amen, amen, and amen.
Right. Toda Rabah. Jaquan. Toda Rabah.